As we get ready for the 2024 offseason, I figured we'd go back and grade Andrew Berry's 2023 offseason with all the knowledge we've accumulated over the last 365 days, how the moves have panned out, the signings, the draft picks, and the trades. So let's start with the first one, Dalvin Tomlinson, guys. He was the big free agent acquisition.
Before you dive in, we're not doing the Flacco move because that was in season, or Hunt because that was in season. I give those moves an A. But
hard to argue.
For another
day.
those
movies are A's. Yeah.
We'll start with Dalvin Tomlinson, though, the big offseason free agent signing, 4-year, $57 million deal. How would you think it's panned out for the Browns?
Who wants to start?
I'll give that a B. I mean, he was a good acquisition. He wasn't, it wasn't lights out, but they paid him a lot of money. He lived up to the contract. He was good, not great, and they paid him really well. So I'll say B.
B plus, A minus. These guys are on the unsung heroes. You know, they don't really. They don't have a lot of number crunching or a lot of data that you can compile that makes them say, wow, look at that. He had 15 tackles and 6 sacks. He had a great time. No, it's the job of just holding the line, holding the middle, anchoring it down. I thought he did exactly what they brought him here for. It's a B plus, A minus.
I like it a B plus. I thought he did a really good job of anchoring down some of the stuff you don't see at defensive linemen. Defensive tackles really don't get sacks. He had 3 sacks, but I think it's more of solidifying the middle of that line. When you watch him, go against teams and they want to run the football, I thought he did a good job of plugging it up. You may not see it in the stat sheet, but I think he did a really good job, B plus, and it showed with the overall effectiveness of the defense.
Yeah, I'm in the minority then. I have him as a B minus. I like the move, and I do think that he filled the need for the Browns. There's no question about that, and he's a huge upgrade at that position. I just think, I guess for the size of the contract, I expected a little bit more in terms of splash plays. He did make some, and he had some nice plays, and overall, again, I think I like it. I can't go as high as a B plus. So for me, I guess I'm the odd man out.
If he had been paid $8 million a year, you'd probably look at it as a higher grade. But
I'd give him a B plus.
He got paid to be a top-notch defensive tackle. He was very good, but he wasn't top-notch.
And that's why I'm a B minus. Yeah, I mean, we're splitting hairs here, but I like him. But I just don't like him to the level the B plus level.
All 4 in the B range. I think that is very fair. Let's go to Juan Thornhill, the safety acquisition, a 3-year, $21 million deal, about $14 million guaranteed. G, start us off.
C.
Grade the Juan Thornhill.
C. I'm gonna go with a C. I felt that he needed to make a couple more plays. I know he's pretty good in, I would say, pursuit and run angles and being the last man standing back there, preventing big runs and big catches. But I think I looked for a little more production. He was also banged up most of the year with the calf injury. I expected a little more coming from Kansas City. He's a bit of a talker. Maybe it was just this year he was banged up a little bit. Maybe we see that next year. But for me, I wanted a little more out of it. I'm going to go with C.
Jay?
I'm a little lower again. I must be a tough grader. I'm going C minus. And I loved his leadership. I expected the same thing you said. I expected that he was going to come in and be a major tone setter on a defense that needs a leader. And I know Awalk in the linebacking core is that guy. And he sort of Thornhill became that vocal leader for the back end of the defense. But I just thought he was going to be a little more impactful. I saw a few too many plays where he was out of position or missed the angle or missed the tackle. I have much higher hopes and expectations for him next year if he's here.
I'm with Jay. I got a C minus here. I might have gone even lower, but he didn't get paid, to be fair. We talk about with Tomlinson. He got paid like a solid safety, not an elite safety. And I thought he was a little below that. So I'm going to say C minus.
I'm actually a little bit higher. I would say C plus, just because I said it before, I thought that there was a lot of plays where he was the last man standing and he got him down. It may not look like a big play in the moment, but if he missed that tackle, that plays out of the gate for 30, 40 yards or maybe even a touchdown. But
that's his job.
I thought, well, I know, and I thought he did it. And toward the end of the year, I think he did fall off a little bit. Maybe it was injury or everything else. But for the first half to 3/4 of the year, I thought he played all right.
All right.
Moving on, Ogbo. This third defensive end, a 3-year, $19 million deal. On the smaller end, Jason, start us off. What do you make the Ogbo signing?
He's a tough dude, man. I'll give him B to B plus, just because of the toughness that he showed coming back and playing on a torn pec. That's unbelievable to do. He fills a role. He's not an every down edge rusher, but he's a third down specialist pass rusher. I thought they got their money's worth. I thought, as you could see by my grades, I thought Andy Berry nailed the free agent class in totality for the most part. I thought they did a great job.
I give him a B+, man. I think he's a specialist. You need those kind of guys when you want Jim Schwartz to be, rushing and bringing in all these other defensive ends. I thought he did a good job of having some production. 4.5 sacks is pretty good for a guy that's not playing every single down. Plus, he showed some toughness coming back, from that torn pec. I'll give it a B+, and I think next year, I'm looking for him to take another jump to get around the 8-sack mark with the production.
I'm actually a little higher than you guys on this one. I'm an A-. And for the reason that you started your discussion points, you probably no one here has had a torn pec. I haven't, but I've talked to people that have. Mm-hmm. It is incredibly painful. Guys have worked through it, but the guys that I know that had worked through it prior to this one were absolute warriors. I'm assuming that he's nothing but the exact same thing. I liked him a lot. I really liked him a lot, and I'm with you. I expect even more production out of him next year. I think that number 4.5 is going to be up maybe in the 6 to 8 range. I'd be happy with that.
This is not good, Jay, and I agree on a second straight one. I'm an A- as well. I factor in the money again. He got paid like a nobody.
I thought it was a deal, actually.
$6 million a year for a guy who's a very productive number 3 pass rusher. Yeah, there's still room to grow, but I thought for what you paid him, he was very productive. And you guys all mentioned the toughness. That took me from a B+ to an A- to toughness.
I think because he's not an every down player is probably what hurts his value a little bit in terms of free agent.
I actually took that into account. He's not paid like an every down player. They didn't bring him here to be an every down player.
Yeah.
What they needed him to do, I thought he did and exceeded what I had hoped he had done. And by the way, I love the pain on Bull's face when he said, "This is not good."
No, I agree
with Jay.
I'm
2 in a row.
But I know, Go ahead, Mike. Next.
So the Andrew Berry and the Browns signed like 20 guys. We're going to whittle it down to the guys who really impacted the field. So we're going to rapid fire here. Jason and Bull, you answer this next one. It's a combo. Shelby Harris, Mo Hurst combination. Both guys.
The belly rubbers.
Rotation.
Yeah.
I'm a belly rubber. A+, baby. I mean, I thought those guys were both highly productive. I know Hurst got hurt. But Shelby Harris was really good, and when Hurst was healthy, he was really good. And you paid those guys virtually nothing. I think those are A+. Those are A+ moves.
GMs really show their acumen by what they do on the margins. When you can nail a 1-year contract for minimal money and they become big-time contributors, that's when you're really earning your keep. He hit on both of those guys. Mo's had a ton of injuries in his career, delivered on a 1-year deal. Hopefully, I'd love to see both of those guys back.
Yeah.
A+ also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A+ is around. All right, moving on. J and G, this one's for you. Marquise Goodwin, the speedster receiver who we didn't see a lot of this year.
This one hurts me because I know him personally. He and my son are friends from the long jump world, but this one's an F. And it really, really, and it's not because of Marquise. I think he gave us what we all said we were going to get from him at his advanced age. He was hurt first with the blood clots. Obviously, none of these are no fault of his own. Then he missed a lot of time with concussions. But he had, I think, 65 or 67 yards receiving, and 57 of those were on one throw.
Yeah. Can you give him an F+ for that one play?
You know what? Because he is such, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, he is such a wonderful human being.
Yeah.
Caring, compassionate, kind. He gets the F+.
F+.
Listen, he's a man of faith, as I'm going to give him a D-.
You're a bigger man than me.
The good Lord above said, "Come on now, don't play around with me. I got you." It's a shame because I think
it is a shame.
Are you saying that if you're religious, you should get higher grades?
I
think that's kind of outrageous.
Like-minded, right? Listen, you just I identify. Let's go. But here's the thing: I still got to give him a low grade. And he was a guy that I thought was going to open us up. We talked about people going to camp. People that were going out there watching him, and they said, "Man, this guy's Deshaun Watson is electric. He's catching the football, he's spreading the field, and he just didn't really work for him. Didn't really happen."
The one thing that I think really hurt him in his time here were the early season underthrows to him. I had guys tell me you can't overthrow Marquise Goodwin. He is an Olympic caliber sprinter. And the fact that those early ones didn't connect, I think set the tone for his time here. It's too bad.
Couple re-signings that were key, and Jay and Bull, you'll answer this one, but Bull, I'll let you go first to see if Jay copies you. Re-signing Ethan Pocic. What grade do you give Andrew Berry for that?
I give that an A. Yeah, Ethan Pocic was a great addition when they first signed him. He had been a bust as a pick with Seattle. He had not played well there. And thanks to the great Bill Callahan, who we cannot survive without. Yeah, we can. Bill Callahan is great, though. He helped improve his game. Ethan Pocic helped improve his game. And he was very good again this year. Not quite as good as the year before, so I'll go A, not A+, but A for me.
Yeah, I'm giving this one an A+. And I know it was an offseason signing because they brought him back.
Yeah.
But I'm also factoring in the fact that we got him here in the first place. Jason told me something on our YouTube show earlier today that I did not know that also changes my opinion of him. He said that Ethan Pocic, when he was looking for a team, weighed heavily into the idea to come to Cleveland that they had Bill Callahan as the offensive line coach. Bill,
yeah.
What I call him.
Bo Callahan.
Yeah, Bill Callahan.
That was from draft day.
The reason, Freudian slip, the reason I think that matters is because that tells me he's a guy who is driven to be the best he can be. I want to go be pushed. I want to go to play for a great coach. I think he's been not as good as the Amari Cooper trade, but right close with it for me.
It's been a great addition.
The other big re-signing, bringing Taki back, who played a ton because of Anthony Walker's injury. Jason, what grade do you give that?
B+. I think he's the starting middle linebacker next year. Switching positions may have saved his career. He looked like just a guy being on the outside 2 years ago, not this season, last season. Injuries forced him to move in the middle, and you thought, okay, maybe there's something here. They bring him back. A-Walk goes down again. Taki goes in the middle again, and really, it looks like a very formidable middle linebacker in the NFL. I expect him to be the starter there next year.
A-, Jason. I love what he does. Like you said, he moved to the middle linebacker. He communicates good, solid tackler, really good locker room guy, can move a little bit laterally. I think he's going to have a great year being a middle linebacker next year, and I think they bring him back. Really productive, and I'm excited to see what him and JOK can do for an entire season.
And I'll open this up to everybody, but one move Andrew Berry didn't make was letting Jadeveon Clowney walk, who had a great season with Baltimore. I know it's a move he didn't make, and they brought in Zadarius Smith and everyone else, but how do you grade Andrew Berry on allowing
I can't blame him for that.
A++.
Now, credit to him. He had a great year in Baltimore.
That's
it
fine.
would not have worked here. You had to let him go. I don't blame Berry for that.
There's a reason why he's on a different team almost every year. The Browns tried it 2 years in a row, and they got burned his second year here. He's a mercenary.
Hey, it's like going out on a date with a beautiful woman, and you sit there and look at each other and don't talk the whole time. Hey, it's better yet serve somewhere else. It didn't work out. Hey, he had a good year, but at the end of the day, he burned the bridge leaving out of here by saying all the things he did. Good job by not bringing him back.
Yeah, unfortunately, they couldn't bring him back because the way his time ended here after the first year. He had 9.5 sacks here, I believe. I think he had the same number with the Ravens this year, if I'm not mistaken, or very, very close. Again, it's really hard to be too critical. He's a good player on a one-year deal.
Yeah.
Because you keep him motivated, you keep his engine churning. But in the playoff game, I was kind of down on the fact that he was in Baltimore, but in the playoff game and what little impact he had, it reaffirmed my belief that they made the right decision not to bring him back. All right, we're going to take a break. We continue grading Andrew Berry, the general manager of the Cleveland Browns. We've talked about all of these offseason free agent moves, but what about the trades?